Today, you will learn 6 important English words through a real-life story about a job interview. Stay with me, and you will understand every word by the end. Our story is about a young woman named Clara. Clara is 27 years old. She lives in a small apartment in the city. Clara has been looking for a new job for 2 months. She wants to work in marketing. She sends her CV to many companies. One morning, Clara receives an exciting email. A company called Bright Ideas Agency wants to meet her. She reads the email 3 times. Clara is very happy, but she is also a little nervous. She has 1 week to prepare for the interview. Now, let us learn our first key word. The email says, "You are one of our top applicants." An applicant is a person who applies for a job. When you send your CV to a company, you become an applicant. Clara is an applicant for the marketing position at Bright Ideas Agency. She is very proud to hear this news. Clara starts to prepare. First, she looks at her qualifications. A qualification is something that shows you have the skills or education to do a job. For example, a university degree is a qualification. Clara has a degree in communications. She also completed a digital marketing course online. These are her qualifications. She writes them clearly on her CV. Clara also practices answering common interview questions. She stands in front of her mirror and speaks out loud. She wants to sound clear and professional. The night before the interview, Clara feels anxious. She cannot sleep well. She keeps thinking about the questions they might ask her. In the morning, Clara wakes up early. She takes a shower and gets dressed carefully. She chooses a smart blue blazer and gray trousers. She eats a small breakfast and drinks a cup of tea. She takes a deep breath and says to herself, "I am ready. I can do this." Clara takes the bus to the office. The city is busy in the morning. She looks out the window and listens to calm music on her headphones. She arrives at the Bright Ideas Agency building. It is a modern glass building in the center of the city. Clara looks up at it and takes another deep breath. Clara walks inside and speaks to the receptionist. The receptionist smiles and asks her to take a seat. Clara sits down and waits quietly. After a few minutes, a man comes to meet her. His name is Mr. Hassan. He is the head of the marketing department. He has a warm, friendly smile. Mr. Hassan shakes Clara's hand and says, "Welcome, Clara. I am happy you are here today." Clara smiles back and says, "Thank you very much." They walk to a meeting room. The room has a large white table and big windows. There is another person in the room. Her name is Ms. Petra. She works in human resources. Clara sits down across from Mr. Hassan and Ms. Petra. She puts her bag beside her chair. She sits up straight and looks at them calmly. Now we learn another key word. Mr. Hassan says, "Clara, you were on our short list." A short list is a small group of the best candidates. The company had many applicants, but they chose only a few for interviews. Clara nods and says, "I am very glad to be on the short list. I am excited about this opportunity." She speaks slowly and clearly. The interview begins. Ms. Petra asks the first question. "Can you tell us about your qualifications and your experience in marketing?" Clara is prepared for this question. Clara answers clearly. She talks about her university degree. She also talks about her online marketing course. She gives an example of a project she worked on. Mr. Hassan listens carefully. He takes a few notes on his paper. He nods while Clara speaks. Clara feels that the interview is going well. Then Ms. Petra asks, "Why do you want to work for Bright Ideas Agency?" Clara smiles. She prepared a good answer for this question. Clara says, I love your company's work. You create creative campaigns for real social causes. I want to be part of a team that makes a positive difference. Mr. Hassan smiles when he hears this. Now we learn the next key word. Throughout the interview, Clara feels confident. Confident means you feel sure of yourself. You believe you can do something well. Clara believes she is ready for this job. Being confident helps Clara speak clearly. She does not look down at the floor. She makes eye contact with the interviewers. This makes a very good impression. Mr. Hassan asks Clara about a difficult situation she faced at work before. Clara thinks for a moment. Then she tells a short, clear story about solving a problem on a past project. The interview continues for about 30 minutes. Clara answers every question honestly and clearly. She also asks two good questions about the team and the role. At the end, Ms. Petra says, "We will contact you within 5 business days." Clara thanks both of them and shakes their hands again. She walks out of the building, feeling calm. Outside, Clara sits on a bench near the building. She writes a few notes about the interview while she remembers everything. She feels she did her best. 3 days later, Clara receives a phone call. It is Ms. Petra from Bright Ideas Agency. Ms. Petra says, "Hello, Clara. We have good news for you." Ms. Petra says, "We would like to offer you the marketing position." Clara's heart jumps. She says, "That is wonderful news. Thank you so much." She is very excited. But then Ms. Petra mentions a number. She tells Clara the starting salary. A salary is the amount of money you are paid for your work, usually every month or every year. The salary Ms. Petra mentions is lower than Clara expected. Clara was hoping for more money. She feels a little disappointed, but she stays calm. Clara remembers advice from her friend. You can always negotiate. Now we learn this important word. To negotiate means to talk with someone to reach an agreement that works for both people. Clara takes a breath and says politely, "Thank you for the offer. I am very interested in the role. However, I was hoping for a slightly higher salary. Is there any flexibility?" She speaks respectfully. Ms. Petra pauses for a moment. Then she says, "Let me speak with Mr. Hassan and call you back tomorrow." Clara says, "Of course. Thank you for considering it." The next day, Ms. Petra calls again. She says, "We can offer you a slightly higher salary. We hope you will accept." Clara smiles. She says, "Yes, I accept. Thank you very much." Clara ends the call and lets out a big sigh of relief. She did it. She negotiated. She stayed confident. And she got the job she wanted. On her first day at Bright Ideas Agency, Clara arrives early. She meets her new team. Everyone is warm and friendly. She feels very happy to be there. Mr. Hassan introduces her to the team. He says, "This is Clara. She has excellent qualifications, and we are very glad she joined us." Clara smiles and feels proud. Clara sits at her new desk and opens her laptop. She looks around at her colleagues and thinks, all that hard work and preparation paid off. She feels ready to begin. Clara's story teaches us something important. Preparation is key. Being organized, practicing your answers, and knowing your qualifications can make a big difference in an interview. It is also important to stay confident and to speak clearly. And remember, if you are not happy with the salary, you can always negotiate politely. Now let us review the 6 key vocabulary words from today's story. This will help you remember them better. Say each word out loud with me, if you can. Number 1, applicant. An applicant is a person who applies for a job. Clara was an applicant at Bright Ideas Agency when she sent her CV. Number 2. Qualification. A qualification is something that shows you have the education or skills to do a job. Clara's university degree was one of her qualifications. Number 3. Shortlist. A shortlist is a small group of the best candidates chosen from a larger group. Clara was on the shortlist, which means the company liked her CV. Number 4. Confident. Confident means you feel sure of yourself. Clara was confident in the interview because she prepared well and believed in herself. Number 5. Salary. A salary is the amount of money you are paid for your work. Clara was happy when Bright Ideas Agency agreed to raise her salary. Number 6. Negotiate. To negotiate means to talk with someone to reach an agreement that works for both sides. Clara negotiated her salary politely and successfully. You have done a great job today. You learned 6 important English words in a real-life story. These words will help you in many professional situations. If you enjoyed this story and you want to keep learning English, please subscribe to Fluent Story English. A new story is waiting for you. See you next time.